Welcome to Habitly Courses, a production of Manage to Win. Each course is divided into multiple lessons for easy viewing. All are now completely free, so you can watch them on your own or work through them as a team. Please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share your favorite lessons with others. Try to find something that helps you be your best.
Welcome back. This is Dave Russell. We are talking about empathy. And this is lesson 2. You've hopefully completed lesson 1. Now I want to talk about, in lesson 1, we talked about the difference between empathy and sympathy. Now I want to talk about how do you actually demonstrate empathy. And Seth Godin came out with this comment in his blog recently, and I really loved it. So I'm putting it here, giving him full credit. And, you think about it with empathy. Look at his statement there. If you believed what he believes, you'd do precisely what he's doing. So people act based on the way they see the world every single time. And so there is a reason that people do what they're doing. And our job is to understand what their situation is. What's their story? What's their need? And that's what we work through with empathy. Empathy's not easy. It's something we need to learn how to do. Now, I suggest there's 3 types of responses based on the research I've done on this. Somebody has an issue, you can disagree, or you can not care. Or you can have sympathy, which we've talked about, or you can have empathy. We're going to focus on empathy. And what I'd like to do is I'd like you to learn habits that develop a positive feedback loop. Look at how I've defined it there. You start with listening, then you reflect back, and then you affirm. And you work this feedback loop over and over and over again. So when you're in listen mode, that's this slide right here. You give them your full attention. You're doing active listening, but you get your full attention. You're not looking at your cell phone. You're not looking at attractive people as they walk by. You're not daydreaming. They've got your full attention. If you're in person, you nod your head in agreement and you use positive body language. And if you're not in person, you still have good body language that you're doing because, some of this stuff comes through the phone. Like if you smile, a lot of times that comes through in your tone of voice and other aspects of how you're interacting. Take notes of key points if you need to. I mean, if there's details, you're going to need to take notes. By the way, if you take notes on your cell phone, let them know that's what you're doing. You're not texting people, but you're actually taking notes on the phone. And let them talk a reasonable amount. So this is the listen portion of the positive feedback loop. Then we're going to move back to reflecting. So we're going to frame our response. Okay, let me confirm what I'm hearing. And then we're going to repeat back the key points to confirm we're understanding correctly. It's fine to ask some questions. Don't ask silly questions, but, ask questions that make sense to clarify key points. If appropriate, acknowledge their emotions. I'm sorry you're frustrated by this. I understand this makes you angry. It would make me angry too. But we'll get there. Let's get to the solution and encourage them to continue. So we're trying to learn a positive feedback loop here. Are there any gaps in your approach today? Think about this. Are you doing all these things? Or maybe you do it a little bit better way. Let me know if you do. I'd be interested in your opinion. But so we listened, we have reflected, now we're going to affirm. So we've listened, we've repeated back. We think we've got everything, but then we confirm, we don't assume. We ask if there's anything else. You can frame it. Okay, I think I've got it. You're going to repeat back the top level issues. You're probably going to briefly explain a process to resolve the problem and confirm the best way to update them as progress is made. Confirm the schedule they're going to hear from you. You can apologize that they had to go through this situation. Thank them for contacting you, and then you always follow up on time. This is the positive feedback loop. You listen, you reflect, you affirm. Just keep repeating that, and you're going to do great. So remember, empathy involves active listening skills. You can affirm their feelings, but they're going to be different than your feelings. In other words, you don't dive into that pool of despair yourself, okay? You're going to understand their perspective, and you're going to do that respectfully. You regulate your own emotions, and you focus on transitioning them from a problem to a solution. Not the people. They may not behave the best. They get your attention, they get your respect, they get your empathy, but they may not behave the best. Our focus is, how do I get you from A to B, from a problem to a solution? If you are in person, your body language is really important. As I mentioned, you give me your full attention. Try not to fidget or show disinterest. You want good body posture. You don't want to slouch. You don't want to be leaning off to the side. You don't want to be kind of odd. You make good eye contact, but not so much that you're staring at them and it weirds them out, okay? Nod your head in agreement as they say things. Say, okay, think I understand, that type of thing. All right? Now, let me explain, too, how you can leverage empathy to say no when you need to say no. So you need to recognize that their request that they're making took some time to formulate. Might have been very frustrated time. They couldn't resolve something. They contacted you. But you want to validate what you can and try to say no to the request, not the person. And try to emphasize there's an opportunity in the no. Maybe there's another alternative they can consider. Maybe there's some, give them some options. You are the good cop. The standard, the policy, the reason you have to say no is the bad cop. You want to come alongside, you want to help them, but you're stuck. You can't do it because of X. And ideally, there's some options or alternatives. This is empathy demonstrated when you have to say no at times, and we all do at times. So to conclude lesson 2, I covered positive feedback loop that really deserves your attention, and I encourage you to try to learn that as a habit. You can shorten it or extend it, whatever is appropriate with your particular responsibilities. But the question here, or the 5 questions are, how are you going to improve? So ask these 5 questions, consider what's in this course, take the exam and pass it. We've got one more lesson to go through, and then we're going to get into the scenarios and games about empathy. I hope this has been helpful for you. Bye for now.